Hello YouTube, we are back for another upload. I'm on the side getting the shelving units out, and again we're here for another upload in relation to Saucedogcomics X-Men #1. Now we're moving fast and furious in the right direction, and that direction is completion. Now if you recall, last time we were here, and what we did was we used a combination of both hot and cold pressing, and this is how I wanted it. It's a lot better than it was, and I'm satisfied. So what are we going to do next in this conservation project? Well, what I want to do is I want to start putting this book together, and we're going to do something a little bit different. We are not going to do staple holes first. We're going to fold it first, and then we are going to do staple holes. So you might be saying, wow, Jerry, that's a little radical. Yes, I like to be radical on the channel. But before we fold it, we're going to do a few things. And what I want to do is I have a #2 pencil and my sharpener. I'm going to sharpen the #2 pencil on the side because I do not want to get any lead or any shavings on the comic book. The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to take page 1 and 2 away from the book, because I believe, and I'm not 100% sure, but I believe those 2 pages are from another book. Okay, we're going to put that to the side. Next, what we're going to do is I am going to pat them down like this, and I want to trace the contour of the pages on a piece of paper, and I'll show you why later. And as you can see, here is the Tengojo repair. You can see it. It's lighter because the Tengojo is white. But guess what? That's okay, because we're not trying to hide that it was repaired. So I have no issue with that. So what I want to do, I could stain them, and I have stained them in the past, meaning the Tengojo, before I put it on, but I don't want to go down that path, especially with this book, because I don't want to run risk that CGC would consider the book restored by adding color. And that would be a problem, because we are doing this in order to get a conserved grade. Okay, so right now you see I'm tracing the contour of the book. And the reason why I'm doing this, you'll see in a sec, is because I want to make the shape of the interior of the book for 2 things. One, I want to make a template for parchment paper. And the reason why I want to do that is because we are going to need parchment paper for the folding of the book in relation to the leaf casted pages. So let me just make sure I can see it. Yep, I can see it. And this would be the, let's see, this would be the cover. Okay, I'm just going to put cover so I know what side this is. Let's put this to the side now. So what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? I'll show you how we're going to do it now. I want to essentially fold this book, and I want to fold it so we can start putting it together. And being that none of these pages were leaf casted, we can essentially just fold it just like this and get the shape down by slowly putting pressure on it. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to get a piece of parchment paper, and I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper down just like this, and I have my tack iron to the side here, and I'm just going to slowly rub the tack iron back and forth to get the shape. You see that? To get the shape to fold it. Now, one thing I didn't do, and I'm thinking about it now, I didn't take before and after pictures, which is fine. I should have done it, but believe me, it looks a lot better, I'm telling you that. So here's the book, nice and folded. That's all we had to do. Very simple. This book is folded the way it should be, and I like the shape of the spine, and I'm just going to put a little bit more down, a little bit more tacking to flatten it out a little bit better. So let's do that, and let's go back and forth with my hanger 9 tack iron, just like this. Sometimes you can't take before and after pictures of everything. You just have to go with it and get things moving and shaking so you can put things back together. So there you go. There is the book, nice and folded. I'm happy with that result. The next thing that I want to do is we're going to go and we're going to put this to the side, and we're going to cut my paper that I just made the template just like this. And we don't need to see me do this. I can do this very quickly off camera, and I'll be right back and I'll show you the results. Okay guys, we're back. So here you go. What I did is I cut out the shape of the cover, and I'll show you why I did that, because I also cut out the shape of the cover with a piece of parchment paper, and it's going to be very important. And the reason why it's going to be important is because I need to form the wraps that we did leaf casting on to the wraps that we did not do leaf casting on. And what happens is right here, I'm going to fold this piece of parchment paper around the cover itself, not the cover, around the book itself, and we're just going to shape it to the book by running my tack iron up and down just to get it in shape. And there's a reason behind my madness. And the reason being is because the leaf casted pages, okay, do not bend like the normal pages. They're a little stiff. And as you know, if you watch the channel, you probably have seen me with different ways trying to round the spine, as I call it. Okay? I'm on the side of my layer right now getting a piece of holly text. We can use holly text, yes. This is holly text. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to put the leaf casted cover or wrap, it's not a cover, down just like this. And then what I want to do is I want to get a brush. Let's use a small brush. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put a little water in the brush. A tiny bit. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Just like that. Then what I want to do is I want to just slowly dampen the spine with the brush, just like this. Not a lot of water. Okay, just like this. And what I'm doing is I'm wetting the leaf casting, and that should give me some resilience to fold the leaf casted wrap over the existing interior of the book, just like this. Ready? And hopefully it will happen and work well, just like that, because I want to try to form the leaf casted page as best as possible with the rest of the book, just like this. And we're going to then use my tack iron to try to round it and match it up. I hope it's actually showing how I'm doing this. We'll put a piece of parchment paper, and then I'm going just to try to dry the leaf casting. Just like this, up and down, and hopefully the tack iron is drying the area that I wet, and it's creating a nice rounded leaf casted spine for me. So let's go on the other side and let's try it this way as well. And it's a slow process, guys, and I'm actually quite happy that this process is only with 2 pages. Now, when you have a whole book that you leaf cast every interior page, it really is nerve-wracking. It's a lot of work, and if you have to, you have to do it. But if you can avoid it, it's something that you should try to do at all costs, because it's just a lot of labor. So let me take a look. I like the way this rounded. Okay, let's use the tack iron, and let's just do a little bit more and take our time, and we'll concentrate on this part, and then we'll work our way down the book. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to do the same process for the first wrap of the book. And that's why I use the newsprint to do a template, and it will work out very, hopefully, smooth, which I think it is. And let's take a look. I like the way it's shaping. Okay, so what I want to do now is let's take the interior of the book out with the pages that were not leaf casted, and let's see how I folded this. I'm pretty happy with the way it folded. I'm good with it. So let's put this in just like this, and let's see if we can line it up nice. And it's semi-lined up nice, but remember, I believe these 2 pages were different in relation to the interior of the book. I could be wrong. I asked Saucedog that question on YouTube. He did not answer that. So let's position it. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied. And remember, we're going to press this once we're done. So let's put now the 2 pieces in. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put my piece of Reme, and then we are going to paint the interior of the first wrap with a little water. We're just gonna go up just like this, and that should be enough, in my opinion, to give it a fold. And let's see if I am correct, if I'm able to give it a fold the way I want to, and it looks pretty good. I'm sure I have a lot of snoozing going on because this is not the most sexy part of the process, but it is a completely necessary part of the process. We all know that. So let's give it a nice tacking. Let's go up and down. And you may be asking, how are you going to put the staples on? That's a good question. We'll do it one staple at a time, one page at a time. And I'll show you how I'm gonna do it when we're done. But by doing this right now, this will give us an opportunity to find out exactly how long the cover has to be. Because when I first started doing leaf casting, what happened was I used to do the cover first, and it caused problems because then there were times that the cover was not long enough. And I learned that valuable lesson with Mike Night Tiger's book, Captain Arrow. And the issue with that book was that it was not, meaning the cover was not wide enough in order to make it where I was able to cover all the interior wraps, because I leaf casted each one of the interior wraps, which took quite some time. And I remember that was a big process. It was a very difficult book to do, also because each page was brittle as brittle can be. So this process, I'll do it and I'll just dry it up by putting the tack iron on, and hopefully the spine will dry up. So I'm going to work on this for a little bit more, and then I'll do it off camera. Then when I'm done, I'll pop back in and I'll show you how I'm going to press it. So hang loose. Okay guys, we're back, and the process is working quite well, and it's nice and dry, but I just want to use the tack iron again. And what I did is I put a magazine board in the center fold, and then I want to put a piece of parchment paper, and we're gonna try to flatten the spine of the leaf casted pages like this. I'm gonna round them a little bit more, and we're gonna go around the existing ones, and we're gonna push it in to the existing original wraps to form it better. And that's all this is. It's just a little working, a little finesse, a little pushing in directions with the paper. And this is going to all take place before we stick this bad boy in the press, the bookbinding press. And we're going to give it one nice press overnight with all of the wraps together, reunited for Saucedogcomics. And then I'll see how it turns out, and then we may use the tack iron again to get it into position and just finesse everything nicely. And that's all this is. It's just manipulating the paper and trying to make it all gel nicely as one original book. Now, see, that was fine. I like what I'm doing now because I'm rounding it around the existing paper. And this is exactly what I want to do. So I will play with this. I will use my tack iron. I will just do it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We'll keep on playing with it. We'll keep on focusing on areas that are troublesome. But this is very important, what I'm doing, guys, because although we folded the leaf casted pages, now I want to round them around the original book. And this will make a lot better finished product for grading and for CGC. Now, it's all in the details, ladies and gentlemen. And what I've learned doing this in all the books that I've done on this channel, I've learned a lot. And I truly am grateful for all of those people, Night Tiger Comics, Roger Metarog, Joe from Black Box, Bronze and Black Box. I'm sorry, Joe, I'm a little tired right now. Your books that I worked on, which I still have to send that book to CGC. Let's touch base. And what we will do hopefully is get that back soon. So all of the people that allowed me to work on their books, and especially my books, I've learned a tremendous amount in doing it. And I have to say that each book that I do, I get a little bit better. Some conservation projects were still good, but the one before the next, sometimes it's not as good, because you learn little things, you learn little tricks. And I'm very happy with what I've learned for all of the books that I worked on. And also you have to understand that sometimes you have different degrees of knowledge for each book. So something I may do for this Silver Age book is not necessarily something that I would do for a Golden Age book. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. Each book is different. The Golden Age book, I like to equate it as a 40s Cadillac that is strong, that is resilient, that you can do a lot to that book without damaging it. The Silver Age books, like this book, oh my God, these things are delicate. They can damage very easily, and that's why I'm taking a different approach working on this book than other books. Okay, so I'm gonna say right now I'm pretty satisfied with the way it is. And what I want to do now is I am going to take this and we are going to put this in our book binding press overnight, and then after that we will see how it turns out after we wrench down and press it, and then we will move on hopefully to the cover. So I hope you guys liked the upload. I know I was a little punchy, babbling a lot, not making sense. For some reason, I'm not feeling up to speed today. And in fact, I didn't even take after pictures of each one of the pages. Believe me, it's night and day how it looks, in my opinion. So I'm very happy with the results. And what we'll do is I'll see you soon after this upload, and we're going to start working on the cover. So thank you, subscribe, appreciate you stopping by and supporting the channel, and I'll see you soon.